Layna here. Welcome back to Layna's Journey. This channel is all about my recovery from anorexia. So today's video, actually I was going to be filming a coping skills video, but a little incident happened yesterday and I thought that it would be good to address it because it's not an often talked about subject, I feel like it's really important to talk about. Also, little side note here, I hope you guys do not mind that I film while I'm doing my movement. It's actually a way of helping me because it helps me not go super fast and helps me not push myself too hard. So I hope you guys don't mind, and I hope it's not triggering. Please let me know if it is triggering. I just feel like this is, it's also a time that I think a lot, so. So what is the topic that I want to talk about? I want to talk about self-harm. Now, this topic can be kind of touchy, so I'm going to be very careful with how I talk about it, what words I use, and everything. So not everyone does self-harm. Not everyone does it, and that's good. Self-harm is not a good coping mechanism at all. I do not recommend it at all. It's not good for you. But sometimes when you do self-harm, it leaves scars wherever you did inflict the self-harm. And a lot of people who don't quite understand the concept of self-harm often are touchy about seeing scars. And oftentimes you may feel like you have to cover up your scars, hide them. And I feel that a lot because I'm scared of people knowing what I did. And so yesterday I was at work, and if you guys have been following my Instagram, you guys will know that I had a recent slip up with self-harm, and I did inflict self-harm again. And so it got out at work. A lot of people know now that I have anorexia, and that's hard for me, but not everyone knows that I do self-harm. And I would like to keep it that way. But my sister saw my wrist, and she was like, she looked at me and she said, "That looks new." And I was like, "It is new. I did it on Sunday." And I was like, "But I haven't done it since." And she's like, she started to make a bit of a ruckus, and her voice was a little bit raised, and she was like, I was like, "I picked at it so it looks fresh." And she's like, "Yeah, well, you're opening new wounds." And then some people were hearing, and like she didn't exactly tell them, but it had almost gotten out, and I was really nervous. And that day I was like, I'm not going to cover it up. I'm not going to be worried about people seeing it because this is a part of me. This is who I am. I have scars, and that's okay. And I'm learning to not care if the people at work know that what I did. I'm learning to not care about that. But when she did point out my scars, and she was making kind of a big deal about it, I got really nervous, and so I went and got a Band-Aid and I covered up my most recent scar because I didn't want people seeing it, because she had made a comment and I was starting to feel insecure. And the reason why I'm talking about this, because I want to carefully address that you do not need to cover up your scars. Self-harm is an unhealthy way of coping. It's not good for you, it's not healthy. And yes, you will, sometimes you do get scars. But that doesn't mean you have to cover up and hide them from people, because if people feel uncomfortable by your scars, then maybe they shouldn't be looking. Because it is a part of us. It is our past, and it's okay, I'm gonna use an example. It's like, sorry, my bangs are so funny. But it's just like somebody wearing a bikini and having a scar on their abdomen from a surgery. Or somebody wearing a low neck shirt and having a scar on their chest from a heart surgery. Nobody is going to go up to them and be like, yo, cover up your scar. We don't want to see that. Nobody's going to say that. Nobody's going to say that. And so why do people want us to cover up our scars from self-harm? I understand that some people are very uncomfortable with the notion of self-harm, but I personally feel like we should not have to cover up our scars. And if you have not done self-harm, I am so proud of you. And that is great. But if you have done self-harm, just know that you're not a failure, you're not a disappointment. You should not fault yourself for making a mistake or slipping up, because you are not a failure if you do that. It just means that the adversary, that Satan, is working on you a little bit. And that's because he knows that you're strong and he's afraid of you. And he's like, crap, I need to do something. But you need to, like, I'm trying to be very careful with what I say here, because I don't want anyone to get offended or trigger anyone. But you're not a disappointment if you slip up. And if you are still participating in self-harm, in this video, I'm going to give you some tips from my counselor. Because a couple days ago, as you guys know if you're following my Instagram, I had a counseling appointment, and we did get on the topic of self-harm, and she did find out that I do self-harm. And she's like, okay, Layna, we need to talk about a few different coping mechanisms that would be better for you, right? And so we were talking about some different coping mechanisms, and she was telling me that oftentimes people tell people who do self-harm to rip up paper or punch a pillow. And she's like, I understand that is not always effective. And it may seem like, what, that's not going to help. But so she told me that combining tactics is extremely effective. So so she recommended keeping a hair tie on my wrist. Whenever I feel the feelings I want to do self-harm, snap it on my wrist, because it's a physical thing. And it's not going to do long-term damage to me, and it's a physical thing. I can feel it physically. Then she recommended, after the fact, after snapping that wristband, going and talking to someone, or journaling, or ripping up paper. So getting your feelings out physically and emotionally. So combining tactics. And she said that first few tactics might not work for you. You just gotta experiment, right? You gotta experiment. Because ultimately, self-harm releases physical response. And oftentimes in those moments and periods of struggle, you want a physical response. And she said that when you do the wristband, or somebody did ice in their hand, holding ice in their hand, it's a physical response. It doesn't do long-term damage, and it does help for some people. I had an experience where I did not have access to a rubber band at the moment, and so I was like, what can I do? What can I do to initiate a physical response? And so I was like, okay, here's something anyone can do. So if you don't have access to any of your tools to stop you from doing self-harm, I started flicking my wrist. I started flicking it with the other hand, and it actually did help. And so yeah, those are some tactics and I saw somewhere also drawing, or like not with permanent marker but like with a washable marker on the part of your body that you wanted to inflict harm on. It actually, I haven't tried it yet, guys, but I actually think that it might help. So for those of you who just experiment with some different techniques, guys, because there's no person is the same, so you'll have to use different tactics for each person, right? And so yeah, and back on the topic of self-harm scars, I don't want anyone to feel like they have to be ashamed of their scars. There's a song, Scars to You're Beautiful, the title is all you really need to hear, right? Scars make you who you are. I'm not saying go and give yourself scars. I am not saying that at all. Do not do that. But if you have scars, don't cover them up. I mean, if you need to put some medicine on it so it doesn't get affected, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, don't feel like you have to put a band-aid on it or cover up with long sleeves. Scars make you who you are. And you don't have to hide your past. Nobody is going to tell someone who used to be addicted to drugs or alcohol to hide their past. They're not going to be like, yo, you should not be telling anyone about that. No, they're not going to say that. So why do people say it about self-harm? It's not a good thing to do. It's not. It's unhealthy. It hurts you. It causes scars. But if you have done it, don't feel like you can't, like you have to be limited in what you can wear, because ultimately, nobody should be telling you what you can and can't do in clothes, right? If somebody goes up to you and says, go put on a long sleeve shirt, I don't want to see your scars, you have all the right to tell them, buzz off. Buzz off, right? Because you are you. I have scars on my wrists, and I am learning I don't need to hide. I don't need to hide because I am who I am. And yes, I made a mistake. I made many mistakes. I did self-harm. It's a mistake. It's not good for you. It's bad. It's not good for you. But I'm not going to try to cover it up anymore because other people might feel uncomfortable or ask questions. I think with the summer coming up, I've seen posts about this. It is very important. Please do not comment on anyone else's scars. Please do not comment on them or ask really about them, because I mean, some people might be open to asking questions, but not everybody is open to answering the questions. Not everybody's open to that, and not everybody is ready to talk about it. So just, if you see someone with self-harm scars, please don't go up to them and be like, yo, you should cover those up. Or, what happened? What'd you do? Because yes, some people are genuinely clueless and don't understand that, oh, this could be from self-harm. I shouldn't ask what happened. But yeah, I feel like it's a process, a learning process. I'm learning to not lie about it, because I've had many people come up to me at work and ask, yo, you're wearing a Band-Aid, what happened? I usually just say, oh, kitchen accident again, you know, I burned myself. But I shouldn't have to lie. I shouldn't have to lie about what happened or what I've done. Like, it's your past. Your past is your past, and you are who you are, and you shouldn't have to cover up. So yes, so let's do a recap. You don't have to cover up your scars, guys. You don't have to cover them up, guys. 2, please do not do self-harm. It's not healthy for you. It's really bad for you. And if you do self-harm, please consider going on the recovery process and trying to stop doing it. And 3, please do not comment on anyone else's scars, and do not ask what happened. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry if I may have triggered anyone, or if it's been kind of a downer video. I just kind of felt like this needed to be addressed, you know, because self-harm is pretty serious. So I love you guys. Here's my Instagram about my recovery journey, and here is my TikTok. I don't post really there very often, but here's my TikTok anyway. Yeah, I love you guys so much, and I hope you guys have a great day. Keep kicking eating disorder butt. Love you guys. Bye.